Welcome to the Moon Manifesting Podcast with Kyra Howearth. Hi, I'm Kyra, business astrologer, moon manifesting mama, author, teacher, and mentor. I teach you how to harness the energy of the moon, stars, and cosmos so you can manifest your dreams and discover a deeper purpose to your life. Hey there, welcome back to the Moon Manifesting Podcast. It's Kyra Howearth here today, and I am going to be sharing with you all about self-love and manifestation, how these two are linked together, and how to use your self-love practice as a way to boost your manifestation. So maybe, you've been trying to manifest stuff for ages and it's just not happening. Or maybe you're interested in learning more about self-love, then you are in the right place. I'm going to be sharing with you so many tips in today's episode about, pretty much boosting your manifestations through self-love. Okay, so what is self-love? My cat's just walked in. Self-love is all about showing yourself love on both a physical and mental level. It comes down to the choices that you're making, such as your health choices, whether you decide to go for some exercise, or do you just stay at home and keep watching Netflix, or maybe what you're eating. Do you have that extra coffee, or do you have water instead? Or do you choose some fried foods over a healthy salad? It's things like this. There's all these different choices that can make up your self-love practice, right? It's an everyday thing. It's not just like, having a bubble bath every full moon. Like, yes, that's a great self-love practice. But self-love comes through those everyday actions and choices that you're making that can have a huge impact on your overall well-being. So it's not only the physical side of things, like your health, the choices, and that sort of thing. It's also to do with the self-talk, the things that you're saying to yourself, whether it's inside your mind or the words that you're literally speaking out your mouth. It's all that sort of thing can also be part of your self-love practice. Becoming aware and observing what you're saying to yourself can be really insightful. An example here is that I caught myself recently, I can't remember the exact situation now, but I think I stuffed up something, and I just realized on autopilot, like I was saying this really nasty stuff to myself, like, oh, I'm such an idiot, I'm so dumb, I can't believe I did this. And I was like, hang on a minute. Why am I saying this to myself? I know I'm not an idiot. I'm actually quite intelligent. I know what I'm doing. It was just a mistake. And so there's things like this where we can really beat ourselves up, and that negative self-talk can come through. And that has a really a strong effect on everything else, on how we manifest the things that we want in our life. And I'll talk a bit more about that connection soon to make it a bit more clear if you're like, huh? But yeah, like the things that we say to ourselves, they have a big effect on us, right? And it may not just be because you've stuffed up and made a mistake and then, the stream of profanities comes out. It may just be like everyday sort of self-talk. It may be like you see a Tesla drive past and you're like, oh, I'm never going to get a Tesla. That person is, they're obviously loaded in money. They, you have this negative self-talk, and it's like, you put yourself down. It's like, that's not achievable for me. Or you see, I feel like Facebook can be a really strong trigger for this negative self-talk. Like when you get into the scroll and you see like, oh, this person's on this beautiful holiday in Italy, and oh, this person's just got a new car, and keep scrolling, and oh, look, this person's just launched a book. And the negative self-talk might start coming through. You may notice yourself, or you may not even notice, it may just happen quite subconsciously, right? But there may be this self-talk happening where you feel like you're not worthy of the things that other people are doing. You're not worthy of going on that overseas trip. You're not worthy of that new car. You're not worthy of launching a book or whatever it is that you may be seeing in your social media feed. And then that negative self-talk can come through. And this is one of the reasons, honestly, why social media can have such a negative impact on our mental health, because we can get stuck into that comparisonitis, and it can really bring our vibe down if we get stuck in that negative self-talk loop. But anyways, so this is what self-love is, right? It's looking at those practices, those daily things that we may or may not be consciously realizing, but they have a big effect on our self-love, how much we love ourselves, and our self-worth, what we think that we are worthy of. And so if we don't love ourselves, we're not going to be making the choices that are good for us. We're not going to be putting ourselves first. We're not going to believe that we are worthy of manifesting our desires, okay? So how can you tell if you're not giving yourself enough love? How can you tell if your self-love practice is maybe not where it should be? Some things that can come up are things like maybe feeling run down, feeling stressed, maybe feeling depressed. You might be feeling quite frustrated with yourself because you're not achieving your goals. And the other thing is that you may be getting physically sick. You may, my cat's just walked in, if you can hear meowing. Hello, McGonagall. Do you want to say hello on the podcast? Oh, hello. If you're watching on the video, you can see my beautiful cat here. She obviously has some stuff to say too. Love me. Hello, McGonagall. Okay, so I was talking about, one of the things that you can tell if you're not giving yourself enough self-love is that you may be getting quite physically sick as well. You might just have these recurring sicknesses. Like you may be that sort of person that constantly picks up colds or flus. You might be plagued with headaches quite a lot, or other physical symptoms that pop up, and it kind of gives you an indication that you're not taking great care of yourself. And that's what I said about self-care, right? And self-love. It's about those daily choices and making those healthier choices that support you, show you that you're worthy, and all that sort of thing, right? So of course, if you're eating crap and you're not looking after yourself because you don't love yourself, of course you're going to be getting sick. Of course you're going to be stressed out. So self-love has a huge role to play in our everyday lives. So of course it's going to affect our future and what we can manifest into our reality, like the things that we want, right? So why does self-love have this huge effect on manifestation? So one of the big things that I see is that when we are stuck in those poor choices, when we're not showing ourselves enough self-love, and we're making unhealthy choices, or we've got that negative self-talk happening, is that this can really lower our vibe. It can bring our vibrations way down. And when this happens, we can struggle to manifest things, right? To manifest stuff, you want to raise your vibe. Higher vibrations can really help you manifest stuff so much more easier. It's all to do with energy, right? Vibrations are just, our energy, right? It's not just like some buzzword like raise your vibes. Like this is actual, like legit stuff. It's your energy. Okay, your low vibes are when you just like sitting there watching Netflix. It's like, oh, life sucks. Like, blah, 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 this is not great type of thing. But if you're feeling really high vibe, your vibrations are raised, you're going to be feeling more of life. You're going to be feeling more energetic. You're going to be feeling more full of love. You're going to be more inspired to take action towards your dreams, okay? So self-love on a really basic level in terms of manifestation is that your self-love practice raises your vibes, whether that's through like your self-talk, like having that positive self-talk, saying positive affirmations to yourself to raise your vibes, or whether it's like, eating higher vibe foods, or we're switching out your coffee for a ceremonial cacao or something else that has a higher vibe, right? So making decisions that can raise your vibes, like that's going to have a really beautiful flow-on effect so that you can manifest the stuff that you really want. So other reasons why self-love can affect your manifestations is that if you're not showing yourself enough self-love, then it can make you start to feel like you don't believe in yourself, and that you don't believe that you are capable of manifesting your goals, that you are not worthy of manifesting your goals. How many times have you set a goal for yourself and it may have been like a really big, beautiful goal that you really, really wanted to achieve, but it just didn't happen? And how much of that is because maybe on a subconscious level, you felt like it wasn't actually possible for you, that you couldn't actually achieve it. Like you really wanted this thing, but you kind of had this doubt in your head that like, you're just not worthy enough. It doesn't happen to people like you. So yeah, your self-love, if you're practicing self-love practices and you're really making a commitment to self-love, whether that's daily practices or monthly practices or even deeper practices where you are really devoting time to your own self-love, if you're not doing that, then it really does send this signal to yourself that you're not worthy enough and that you don't believe that you're worthy of receiving whatever it is that you want. Another thing that can come up with like along the same lines about self-love affecting your manifestations is that if you don't love yourself enough, if you're not giving yourself enough self-love, it can lead to things like self-sabotage. So like if you think that you're not worthy of whatever it is, but like, you know, you've set this goal and you're like, okay, I'm gonna set this goal, but like there's, you know, these niggles of doubt in your head, you may subconsciously self-sabotage yourself. So that could look like, you know, you may not actually do the work that you need to do. You may not do the required steps to do the thing. You may, like, for example, like a really good example here is like, you know that you need to follow up with people who are interested in what you do. And if you're not showing yourself enough self-love, if you don't believe that you're worthy of working with these people, that your services aren't good enough, you're going to sabotage yourself. You're not going to reach out to those people and follow up and book them in. You're not going to do the things that are required for you to meet that goal because you don't believe that you're worthy of it, okay? So there is such a huge correlation between your self-love practices and manifestation. There are so many ways that not having a good self-love practice can really negatively affect the way that you're manifesting things. And I've seen this not only in myself, but in other people too. Like when I work with people and I talk to people, like whether it's through my business coaching or just through like astrology readings and that sort of thing. And I see, like, you know, sometimes people have these amazing goals and they really want to achieve them, but they never quite get there because they will sabotage themselves, that they will kind of get in their own way. They'll stop themselves from doing this thing because, you know, things will happen, or they'll make excuses and that sort of thing. So if that's you, you know what you need to do, right? You need more self-love. So I'm going to be talking a bit more about self-love practices, what to do on a daily, weekly, monthly, yearly sort of thing shortly. But first, I want to talk to you about something really special. Here in Tamworth, New South Wales, where I am, I'm actually hosting a half-day self-love retreat for women. I'm co-hosting this with my friend Kirsty May. She was a guest speaker on the podcast a few episodes ago. If you want to go check that one out to hear a bit more. But together we are teaming up. We are bringing together our different skills and talents to create a relaxing and recharging afternoon for women in the Tamworth area where you can come and fill your cup and nourish yourself so that you can then go on to give more love to your family, to your children. You can believe that you're worthy in manifesting the things that you really want in life and all that sort of thing. We're going to be doing yoga. We're going to be doing like some elemental rituals. We're going to be working with, all the elements. We're going to have a bonfire, guys. It's going to be amazing. We're going to be doing a cacao ceremony. The whole theme of our half-day retreat, Bloom, is heart healing and heart opening. We're really focusing on the heart chakra and self-love practices. So if this is something that you know that you need to boost your self-love, like something's got to change, right? You need to realize that you're worthy of manifesting the things that you want. Make sure you check out the details for Bloom, our self-love half-day retreat. The link will be in the show notes below, so go check that out, and hopefully I will see you there. Okay, so let's talk about different self-love practices for you to do. So on a daily basis, this can be things like just whenever you're asking yourself, like, you know, making a decision, this is where self-love can come in, right? So you wake up in the morning and it's like, okay, what's the first thing you do? Let's say you're getting dressed, okay? And this may not be the best example, but like, okay, you're gonna get up and get dressed. That's a good decision in itself, you know, to get up in the morning and get dressed. But then you may have a choice of clothes, right? And it's like, okay, am I gonna wear the daggy track pants that, I mean, you know, they're comfy, but they look pretty gross and, you know, they make me feel pretty ugly? Or do I choose like my, you know, cool leggings and a nice shirt and put on some jewelry, put on some makeup, make myself look good because I know that's going to make me feel good, right? So choices. Your next choice that it might be is like breakfast. What's for breakfast in the morning? You may choose to skip breakfast, which is, you know, not a really good practice to get into, because that's not showing your self-love, right? What does your body need? It needs food. It needs nourishing food. So if you're skipping breakfast, that's not a very good self-love practice. So you may have other options. You may decide to just have a coffee, or maybe have a bowl of cereal, or you might have something that's really healthy. Like you may have like some sourdough toast with some beans and some fried spinach and fried tomatoes, or whatever, you know, you may make yourself something really delicious and nourishing and wholesome. And so what do you think, looking at like breakfast as an example, like what do you think someone who has high self-love is going to do? They're going to take the time to prepare themselves a really nourishing breakfast that they love. And for you, it may not be like the sourdough toast with beans and all the veggies, like, you know, you do you. But like, you know, they're going to make the decision that's going to make them feel good. They're going to be a bit selfish, right? Self-love is selfish because it's showing love to yourself. But the thing is, we need to be a bit selfish. We can't give all our energy away. And that is often a thing I see with mums in particular, is that we will give our energy all to our kids and then we won't have enough energy to do things for ourselves. Like, you know, we'll make all these breakfasts for our kids and then we're just eating their leftovers. Sound familiar? So instead of doing that, like if you're a mum and you're in that trap, you could wake up first, make your own breakfast, fill your own cup first, literally, fill your own plate first, and then make breakfast for the kids. Okay, it's just these little shifts that you can make on a daily basis, right? So your daily self-love practice, it just comes down to those decisions that you're making every day anyway, but making the decision that shows you more love, that is giving yourself more love. Another daily practice that is really helpful is affirmations. I love to choose an affirmation for my day, whether I'm using a deck or if I'm just, you know, maybe making up an affirmation based on however I'm feeling or whatever I'm manifesting or whatever. And repeating that affirmation throughout the day has such an amazing effect. I talked before about like the negative self-talk and how we can catch ourselves saying really bad things. The funny thing that happens is once you start saying positive affirmations all the time and you repeat these affirmations to yourself all the time, is that you'll, you know, that will flow through subconsciously as well. You'll be sitting there and like, you know, you may have been saying this affirmation to yourself all day, like, you know, I am worthy of manifesting my desires or whatever it is. And then like, you know, you may be sitting there later and suddenly you'll be like, yeah, I'm worthy of manifesting my desires. Like it works. Affirmations work. So that is the other thing that I would do consciously as a self-love practice on a daily basis is affirmations. Okay, so daily self-care practices, we've got making healthy choices and affirmations, okay? Weekly self-care practices, you might like to do something each week that is maybe like a little bit deeper than just like simply saying an affirmation or making healthier choices. Or it may be like a big healthy choice, a big commitment. So whether that's, actually setting some strong boundaries for your weekend so that you just have like time for family and friends on the weekend and not work. Or it could be like, every week you're going to commit to, going to the yoga studio on the weekend when you have time off. Or something like that, where you can commit to something on a regular basis, and it doesn't necessarily have to be weekly, but where you're committing to something that is just for you, something that's going to be a good choice for you, that's going to show yourself some love and some self-care and all that sort of thing. Monthly, so I like to actually schedule myself in for monthly self-care practices. So for me, this often looks like a few hours each month where I might go book in for a massage, I might go to a day spa for a treatment, I might go to like a, what's the thingy called? A flotation room, or like a flotation tank, like where you lie in the salt water and float for an hour. So relaxing, so good. Or you might, go to a workshop or something, like a creative workshop or something like that. Something that actually fills your cup and makes you feel good. Like if you don't like lying there for an hour with someone massaging your back or whatever, if that doesn't feel good for you, you don't have to do that. Do what feels good for you. Maybe you're the sort of person who would much rather go make candles for an hour at a workshop, or, go to a sip and paint workshop at night and learn how to paint something while having a glass of wine, that sort of thing. So I like to do these sorts of things monthly. I actively try to schedule in a monthly self-care, self-love sort of thing. And it changes every month, but it's where I can go really deep into something that makes me feel good, that I can walk away from that and actually feel really relaxed and recharged and like I am worthy of good things, because that's what it's coming into, right? Like raising your self-worth so that you can believe that you're worthy of manifesting your dreams, because you are. And so one last thing is self-care practices on a more like wider scale. So maybe yearly, but it doesn't necessarily have to be yearly. It could be even like quarterly, every 3 months, up to you. But what I love doing here is retreats. I'm hooked on retreats. I love them so much on so many different levels, because it really gives you time and space to do something for yourself, to have a break from, like if you're a mother, it gives you a break from your family. I mean, I love my family, but it's hard work, right? Sometimes we just need a break so that we can come home and appreciate things again. So for me, like I love going on retreats because it gives me a break from doing all the housework. Don't have to do that for like a week. And, gives you a break from the kids. Don't have to, worry about putting them to bed and getting them up in the morning and having to make 50 meals a day and all that sort of thing, like having to do homeschool and like doing all the things, all the appointments and everything, like breaking up fights between the kids. Like, I can have a break from that for a while. This is self-love, guys. This is what self-love is. It's about realizing that you are worth taking time away from your regular life. You are worth a holiday. You are worth a retreat. Maybe retreat, isn't something that's appealing for you. But you could book yourself a holiday, just go on a solo trip. I have friends who love traveling by themselves. They may have a husband or kids at home, but they will solo travel. They will, go on these massive epic adventures overseas and come back and they will feel amazing because, they've filled their cup. That's what it's about. Filling your cup, nourishing yourself, loving yourself, believing that you're worthy of this life, and believing that you're worthy of manifesting your goals and your dreams. Okay, I'm sure by now I've convinced you that you need to have more self-love practices in your life on a regular basis, as well as the chance to go deeper into different self-love practices throughout the year, whether it's like, a monthly sort of deep dive into a massage or whatever, or, going on retreats or holidays by yourself, like doing things that feel good for you. Making sure that you take that time out and be a bit selfish. It's okay to be selfish, because if we are always just trying to please other people, then, we're running around and we're really not meeting our own needs. And that's just going to deplete you and, do all the things like I was saying before. Like, if you're not giving yourself enough self-love, you're going to be feeling run down, stressed, sick, and all of that. So this is why it's important. So important. So don't forget, I am holding a mini retreat here in Tamworth with my friend Kirsty May. Bloom is going to be held in September. So make sure you check out all the details below in the show notes. Can't wait to see you there. It is going to be a beautiful afternoon where you can come to fill your cup, feel nourished, feel supported, and raise your vibes. It's going to be amazing. So stay magical, stay manifesting, and stay tuned, and stay loving to yourself. Give yourself all the self-love. I will speak with you very soon. Bye for now.
Thank you for listening to the Moon Manifesting podcast. If you're wanting more moon magic, check out my book, Moon Manifesting. Download your free Moon Manifesting calendar or connect with me on social media. You can do all of that at kyrahowearth.com.au. Stay magical, stay manifesting, and stay tuned. I'll speak with you in the next episode.